2023 has come to a close, and before we look ahead to what seems to be a very exciting upcoming 2024, I want to take a moment to reflect upon the year we had in terms of Disney Cars diecast from Mattel. It was a huge year for the line. Of course, the first full year with Cars on the Road releases. That was the first ever show for the franchise, so kind of a big deal. And so today, I want to give you guys my top 10 list of diecasts from Mattel this year, whether it be a new character or not, whether it be a mainline release or expanded universe. I included everything Mattel did in terms of diecast this year. And man, it took me a while to compile this list. There was a lot of good stuff this year, and to narrow it down to just 10 really was a tall order. And I have reviews of everything I talk about in this video on my channel. So as I go through, if you're curious about anything or want to see more details, definitely check out that video review on my channel. I'll have them all linked in the description below, and most of them also linked through card suggestions or the end screen on the video itself. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. We're gonna go from 10 to 1 to build up the suspense, and coming in at number 10 is Todd the Pizza Planet truck. Yes, the highly anticipated, one of the most iconic characters, not only for Cars, but for Pixar. And I guess in most of the Pixar movies, he isn't a character, but you guys know what I'm saying. He appears in almost every Pixar movie. He's become very popular, more so the Pixar mascot than the lamp or the ball. You guys know what I'm talking about. And this was his first time being released from Thailand, and I thought they really nailed it. Not the best Thailand variant ever, but I thought they did a great job making him look really dirty and rustic, a lot more realistic than the Chinese variant that we had gotten in 2009 and 2014. Of course, in 2017, they did that clean version, which really makes no sense to Cars 1 or Cars 3, so I don't know why they did that. We did get a mini racer as well. Tomica did a Todd this year. The Disney Store has done 3 versions of Todd, so as you can see, very popular. I think Mattel did a great job with it this year, and of course they brought him back in the first case of 2024 singles as well, allowing everyone another chance to get him, even though I've only still found one in a store, and it was by a miracle. All right, moving on to number 9, we have one of the most highly anticipated Cars on the Road releases of the year, Motto. I think going into this year, everyone said, if we don't get Motto, what are we doing? Now, of course, everyone wanted Randy from the hotel. Everyone wanted Chiefess. Like, those are very iconic characters as well. But Motto rose above them all. She's Mater's sister, so it just makes sense for either her to be in a 2-pack with Mater, which they didn't do, or just be released, period. And thankfully, they gave us what we wanted. It took a while. She was released in June, July, so about halfway through the year, and a little bit more than halfway through the cases for the year. And she was, I think, in a couple cases, but ended up being relatively rare. I found a bunch at Walmart, thankfully, but because the case she was in never hit Target, she ended up being kind of limited in that way. Now, obviously, she was included in international cases, but I think she was in totality cases K and, oh man, I think it was actually just K. Was it really just K that Motto was in? I think so. But yeah, great to finally have her. I think Mattel did a really good job with her, primarily because there are no decals on her to screw up or make blurry. So they just did what they had to do, and it came out pretty good. It's something that they had to do. It's what we were wanting. We got it. End of story. Good job, Mattel. You didn't do above and beyond, but at least you met our expectations. Number 8, I'm gonna go with Jeremy. Okay, so the Road Rumbler character, the nervous, anxious guy who, of course, dissents with Lightning McQueen and Mater before everyone else ends up stopping the war as well. I just think they nailed all the details on him, and there are a lot. You have the mallet, you have the spikes on his roof, which are a really cool rubber bendable. Obviously, if they did do them in plastic or metal, it would be basically, if I step on, I'm going to the emergency room type of situation. So they couldn't do that, but still, it's a really cool texture. He's dirty, he's rustic, his expression is great. It epitomizes his anxious, nervous personality. And so I just think they did a great job with him. He was in cases H and M as a single, and he also was in a 2-pack with who I have here at number 7, and that is Chiefess. Now, I'm going to start with my gripe about Chiefess being the kind of cheap looking headdress. It's kind of, well, first of all, it's blatantly plastic. Now, I didn't expect them to do it in anything but plastic, but at least try and make it look a little bit more metallic-y or metal. Nope, it is blatantly plastic, kind of like a darker gold, and I don't really like it at all. It looks clunky, whereas in the short or the episode, it's sharp and it kind of looks cutting edge, like it looks like it was gold flaked. Like, I don't know, it just looks so much better in the episode. I don't think they did a good job of representing that or depicting that on the diecast. Now, outside of that, she's fantastic. A beautiful gold metallic color. She's got some spikes on her. Another really good expression. And another character who is kind of limited. Now, she's in a 2-pack with Jeremy, who we talked about in case T of 2-packs, and then returned in the first case of 2024 2-pack. So a couple opportunities to get her. It does kind of give me the impression they are not comfortable releasing her as a single. She just must be too big, even though I feel like in terms of just overall like girth, Doug Crankle is pretty comparable to her, which they did do as a single. But yeah, I think she'll probably be like red going forward and be limited to 2-pack. So definitely take advantage getting her while you can. At number 6, maybe a surprise to some, a variant, Cryptid Buster Mater. Cryptid Buster Mater is kind of a banger, underrated release. Not only is he one of the rarest releases of the year, who I didn't talk about in that major case problem video, but he certainly is up there with West Philanthropist, Quadratorcosar, and some of those other ones. I mean, yeah, he is right there, included in case H and J, I believe. But, of course, cases H and J did not hit target, and he is not in the Walmart version of either of those cases. So basically, an international exclusive, unless you got lucky, found them at Fred Meyer or H-E-B or some weird grocery store in the U.S. But like Jeremy, Mattel just nailed every detail. And again, there are a lot of little accessory doodads on him. You have the satellite, you have the camouflage, you have the gas tanks, and the expression, again, is awesome. That's why I don't have Rumbler Mater on this list, because I don't like the expression. But being fair, Mattel did a great job with Rumbler Mater as well, with the spike ball, the flamethrower, all that stuff looks great on him. But I just think the expression is not up to snuff enough to be on this list. I think he's probably top 15 in the year, for sure. But Cryptid Buster Mater is nailed in every facet. I love the doodads on him. They don't look cheap either. Like maybe the satellite a little bit, but the gas tanks, they look legit. I love the camo effect that they did on him. It's not that blurry or anything like that. So really a big fan of the variants they did this year in total. Like I think they really nailed almost all of them. Cave McQueen is top 15, I'd say, as well. But here we have another variant, and I think the best of the year. At number 5 is Rumbler Lightning McQueen. Road Rumbler Lightning McQueen. Man, I said it when I reviewed him. I loved it. Like, the expression, again, is great. And that's what all these need to have in order to be on this list. You can't sneak into this list with a bad expression. And there were certainly a few of those this year. I'm going to spoil it right now. Randy is not on this list. And that may be a surprise to some, but if you watch my review on him, you would understand, because I didn't like his color, his expression's not very good. There are a lot of issues with Randy, and there are a lot of issues with many of the releases this year, and I think a lot of it does have to do with expression. And expression can really make or break a character. And Road Rumbler McQueen and these other ones, they have really good expressions. What I love most about him, though, are, again, all the doodads. Like you have the shell, the spiky shell, which is a plastic kind of inserted piece. You have his mohawk. You have the exhaust pipes. And then his altered spoiler is a really solid metal. It feels legit. Like it feels kind of rough, like it looks in the show. I just think overall they did a really good job with him. They even they made the wheels accurate with the gray hubcaps. Man, just an overall fantastic release, and I'm so glad that they were able to correct the Disney Store's horrible attempt at Road Rumbler McQueen. Next up is, at number 4, Adam Rodriguez. Another one I said right off the bat will probably be one of my favorites for the year. Now, kind of weird, appears in the Trucks episode, which I don't really like, and honestly feels more like a Cars 3 release because there is a fire and rescue truck exactly like him in Cars 3, and we'll say the same thing about that yellow tow truck, Chris Freightman, of course, who is Herb Kerbler in Cars 3, just with a decal on the side, so similar vibe there. But yeah, he's a brand new model, of course, similar to Ray Reverham and Roscoe, but he's got the new back on him, which I would have liked to be die-cast metal. It's plastic, and that's fine. He does have some decals. They don't look tremendous or anything, but I love the bright red. He's a bigger character. You feel like you're getting what you're paying for, and he just looks really good all around, just really solid, and I think a great start. Like, if, we had to get the Trucks episode, fine. If we're going to have to get that, I want some good diecast from it. And it seems like they're doing it. Like, Adam's a good start. They have done a couple mini racers now. I don't think those have been great. And Chris Freightman looks really good. I'm very excited about him. I would not be surprised at all if he's in my top 10 list next year. So there you guys have Adam at 4. Next up, we have the top 3, guys. This is pretty substantial. And I think a lot of you guys may already know what I'm going to say here. Coming in at number 3 is the Quadratorcosar. Now, I kind of feel bad doing this. I feel like I'm doing a bunch of other cars injustice. Am I really putting a dinosaur ahead of Maters and McQueens and legit racing characters? Maybe like Niles Speedcone could have snuck into this, or someone a little bit more realistic. But hey, I judge these guys on their own merit, and Quadratorcosar is a phenomenal release. It's exactly what Thailand does great. No decals to worry about, a rustic matte finish, and just some great unique molds, like some really cool pieces that went into this. The tail, the horn. He's a 6-wheeler. He's got all those scale type things on him. Man, the only problem, and it has nothing to do with the diecast, is that the art was of the baby Quadratorcosar, not the adult. Now, they did correct that for 2024 in his KC release, so that's good. So he's all back to normal. He's also one of the rarest releases this year, only being included in Case K, my bad, because he was removed from Case H. And so again, international exclusive. Meyer did get that case in, so I actually was able to find one recently by another stroke of luck. But yeah, man, I love the expression. It does exactly what it needs to. Just kind of look dopey, like a dinosaur would, just grazing on whatever the Quadratorcosars are grazing on out there. And yeah, like I said, Thailand, this is right up their wheelhouse. This is what they do best. Give me something without any decals, so I don't have to worry. I don't even have to know that they're bad at making decals. And give me a cool, unique mold that involves some intricate casting. And bam, you got Quadratorcosar. Great release from Mattel. Got a little scared there early when they removed him from Case H. Thought he might have gotten canceled. Fortunately, he was re-included in Case K. Number 2, guys, we're taking a break from Cars on the Road. We're going all the way back to 2010 with Clutch Kringle. This was by far the biggest surprise to me for years. Obviously, we're going through the motions. It makes sense. They're going to release Randy. They're going to release Mato. They're going to release Mateo. That doesn't surprise me. Okay, they're doing Chris Freightman from the Trucks episode. Not a big surprise. Even if they did end up doing the announcer from Thunder Hollow, a highly anticipated release everyone's clamoring for, I would be surprised, but I wouldn't be as surprised as I was when they released Clutch Kringle. Dating back to the 2010 Mater Saves Christmas book, you got this beautiful elf. Again, no decals, nice plastic Santa hat. That sounds weird to say, but it's a great hat. Let's be real. He's got a nice expression, cute, a smaller car. They made him very readily available at Target. I'm sorry if you didn't find him. I found about 20 of them. I think most people were able to find this car. He was also at H-E-B, Jewel Osco, Kroger, etc. So what a great release. What a great surprise. Like even when they did the reindeer, the snowmobile, they had already tried and canceled him, so it wasn't as big of a surprise. Like this was so out of left field. It seemed like when they did snowmobile, it was like, here, take it. Stop knocking down our door for the last 13 years. Like here, just take it and get out of my face. With this, it's like, we actually like Mater Saves Christmas, and we're willing to give you guys new stuff from it. And to me, that was just a humongous surprise, a pleasant one at that. I love him, and honestly, he has a case to be number one. He has the case to be number one over the last 5 years, without a doubt. But I am going to put the West Philanthropist at number one for all the same reasons that Quadratorcosar is at 3 and then some. I believe that the West Philanthropist will be by far the rarest release from 2023. He'll probably eclipse Fair Game from 2020 and Cupcake McQueen from 2020 until he gets re-released, which, let me tell you, it might not be for a while. But this car is just incredible. Again, you have no decals. You got a horn. You got a double tail. You got those panels on the roof. You got exhaust pipes coming out the side. You got these big fenders. You got a really good expression. He's got teeth coming out. Like, you can't ask for more. And if you're Mattel and you're looking at all the possible cars you can release from Cars on the Road, you see this, you look and you turn and run the other way. It's an extremely difficult casting to embark upon, I can imagine. And if I'm Mattel, and based on a lot of the decisions they've made, it seems like their decision when they see West Philanthropist is to turn and run. Let's just do the repainted Shannon Sharp or Shannon Spokes, whatever, the turquoise tour guide from the Dino Park episode. Like, let's just do that. Or let's just do the repainted River Scott Rumbler character. Like, the fact that they chose to take the hard path and go about one of the most unique, distinct castings they've ever done before, and truly it is. I know he's super rare. Many of you may not have him, and I'm really, really disappointed in that because he deserves, like, you all deserve to have him, and he deserves to be in your collections. He raises the bar up. West Philanthropist is phenomenal. I hope he gets re-released one day so more people can get him, because until then, no one will truly understand how great this release is. So that's my number one. That's my top 10. Before we close it out, I want to do some honorable mentions for good and for bad. Now, Ivy, I think, is right there in the top 15 as well, just out of the sheer fact that they did her. Obviously, they had to go out of their way to do so. Couldn't be a single, couldn't be a deluxe, deluxes are canceled. Couldn't be in a 2-pack. So what you do an Amazon 3-pack. Very good. Really appreciate that. Expression, not very good though. So that's why she's outside the top 10. Cave McQueen, just barely outside the top 10. Really nice. Again, all these dinosaurs they do. Pitstoposaurus is great as well. No decals, rustic, matte finish. Great casting. So he's right there. Better, I'd say, than Lightning McQueen Deputy Hazard. I made the decision. Better by far than Cryptid Buster McQueen. So I really do like him. Squat, another great release this year that deserves probably to be in the top 10. Maybe if she was released in a different year. The spikes on her. She just doesn't have as many details as Jeremy. So that's why Jeremy's ahead of her. But Squat has a great expression, and I think they really nailed her. Just kind of a little small, I'd say, but there's nothing I could really complain about with Squat. Of course, I already talked about Road Rumbler Mater. Despite the expression, is still a really good release. And all these I'm talking about are ahead of Randy, who I thought going into the year could end up being my favorite. I think they just really botched him. You look at the card art and you compare it to the diecast. He's metallic on the card, metallic red, a darker red. He's got a way better expression with the teeth, the jagged teeth. None of those three things, how about three things, translate to the diecast. So it's like, Mattel, why did you even make him if you were going to screw him up that badly? Then we have I'd probably say the D100s, I guess, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I feel like they just did them to be done. They're just repaints. I don't think they're anything too special. And honestly, I guess we're kind of doing like a top 15 right now. They're not in the top, none of them are. I mean, I guess Doc Hudson or McQueen would be the top ones of the category there, but I really think they're pretty far down the list. One that I actually surprisingly found in maybe the top 20, top 17 is Doug Crankle. Yeah, Doug Crankle, despite not being the right color, and that's why he can't be in the top 15. Like, you just can't, right? Because you're the wrong color. But man, he's still a really good release. Great job on the brain, great expression. Could end up being a very rare release going forward. But yeah, they botched the color on that, and that is why he falls outside of the top 15. But he's probably like 17 or 18. I think Claire Gunzer was a great release, as we talked about. And Lisa and Luis combined are really good, I would say. Bella Cadaver is fine, but just a repaint with an added accessory, the headset. And yeah, you could say that about a lot of these. I mean, I think Niles Speedcone gets overrated or underrated a little bit because he's been peg warming a lot, but that's another great release. Overall, it was a really good year. Mateo's another repaint that falls down. Kelly Beambright, not a big fan of her. So some of those kind of fall back down. Kirsten Marshall as well. But there you guys have it. Let me know in the comment section below, what is your top 10? I would love to hear it because this is such a fascinating conversation to have. Do you agree with mine? Do you think some of mine are just egregiously bad? Like, I would never imagine putting those in my top 10. I'd love to talk about it with you in the comments. What the hell? I don't have anything else to say, so I'll let you guys go. Enjoy the rest of your day. And yeah, what a great year for cars. Here's to a great, even better 2024.